This financial year, I will also introduce the Higher Education Amendment Bill to Parliament, as well as amendments to the Skills Development Act. These amendments also aim to strike an appropriate balance between institutional autonomy and public accountability of universities. By the way, contrary to some myths, Chairperson and honorable members, there is no constitutional clause on institutional autonomy in our Constitution. Our Constitution only talks about academic freedom. Some of the members sometimes mislead people and say institutional autonomy is a constitutional imperative. It is not. That is why in our own white paper, we balance institutional autonomy with public accountability, that these are public institutions, our universities, that must be held accountable. And I also wish that the NCOP will also get into the habit of calling upon some of our universities to come and account about how they are using public money and how they are actually promoting inclusion rather than segregation. I don't think that it should be intimidated by the idea of institutional autonomy. They are public institutions. They must account to you. I also wish to say, Chairperson and honorable members, that based on our white paper, we are developing a new national plan for post-school education and training, which we are going to be finalizing by March 2017, which will then cover our roadmap to 2030. For the 2015 MTF, the budget of the department amounts to 41.8 billion rands for 2015-16, which is an increase of 2.8 billion on the 2014-15 allocation, excluding, of course, the direct charges that fund the SETAs and the National Skills Fund. On NSFAS, for the 2015-16 financial year, the total NSFAS budget amounts to 9.5 billion for the allocation of 205,000 university student loans and bursaries, and 200,000 TVET college bursaries, with the highest allocation going to Gauteng, a sign that most of our universities and colleges are concentrated there. And donor allocations include not only funds from the Department of Basic Education in the form of Funza Lushaka, but also Department of Social Development, the SETAs, the National Skills Fund, but also funding for bursaries from the Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal provincial governments. I also wish that other provinces could do the same as well, so that we increase the port that we have. And I do need to say, Chairperson, that whatever challenges we have on NSFAS, this is making a huge difference to poor students in our country. In fact, this is one of the most successful interventions by this ANC government. That is why our detractors, they will never mention the benefits out of NSFAS. Instead, they focus on problems and challenges, because the aim is to distract. NSFAS is one of the most important achievements by this government. That's our point of departure. Then we can talk about the challenges and the problems. But because there is a huge campaign to try and discredit NSFAS, its achievements is just ignored. We are committed to increasing access to universities, aiming to have 1.1 million students in 2019, so that we reach our target of 1.6 million university students by 2013. Chairperson and honorable members, lots of progress with the new universities. Solplaik University in Kimberley did its second intake this year, and it's appointed a vice chancellor, permanent. Mpumalanga University, its second uptake, and it's appointed a vice chancellor. We have President launched the Sefako Makgato Health Sciences University, third university now under a democratic South Africa, with just over 5,000 students and incorporating Medunsa. And next year we are hoping to be opening the first medical school in a democratic South Africa at the University of Limpopo. We also committed to continue to produce quality teachers for the system. The number of new teacher graduates continue to grow, with 16,496 new teachers graduating in 2013. And by 2019, this figure will exceed 20,000, and therefore addressing the teacher shortage gap. We are also pleased to announce that with the support from a number of partners, we have established the first Center for African Languages Teaching that has been established as part of the University of Mpumalanga's Siyabuso campus. This center will promote research into teaching African languages, particularly the dominant languages of Mpumalanga province, Ndebele and Siswati, hoping that we can then use this also across all other languages, especially African languages. We are indeed piloting community colleges as from next year, but already from the 1st of April this year, we've established 9 community education and training colleges, administrative centers across the 9 provinces, which allows for the absorption of our adult basic education and training centers into these new community colleges that we need. 2011 census tells us that there are 18 million South Africans who need adult education and training of one kind or the other. And for this reason, I will therefore be establishing a fully fledged branch on adult education and community college education in my department, headed by a Deputy Director General.